Hey, what's up, everybody? This is light journey news right here. You already know how it is. How we gonna go into this right here. We gonna go and talk about a lot of things going on lately. I'm seeing, matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna just name some right here. We're gonna name. We're gonna talk about a lot of different things. To me, it's sad. But before I get into Louisiana, right, I think that situation is sad with up north in Louisiana not getting along pretty much, even though it's not specifically, one city. Um, Let me think of another one. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of different issues. Nicki Minaj as well, though. She's been all over the news for many different types of things. The shift that's going on. You can say we're gonna talk about 50. We're gonna talk about Durk, Herb, a lot of these different topics more in depth without a feeling of okay, a certain amount of time is passing by, or I gotta go through all of these specific points at a specific time, and I can't really get into nothing because of that. And whatever's going, sometimes more things is going on than not. Now we can get that collective mind set, you could say, or collective mindset overview. I like that. You got more clear picture now of what's going on instead of just exactly the same second you heard it on the news, pretty much. Maybe a day or whatever, people work, people busy, you don't really got time to think about it sometimes when you first get it. So we got to come into this right now. So first of all, I'm gonna start out with the newest things first. I'm gonna show y'all some extra love right here. I'm gonna talk about a topic that y'all already know about. So we're gonna go into Nicki Minaj. I'm very surprised that in these last couple of months, probably you could say the last 2 months, that she's been on the news so much for what she's been doing, whether that's political, whether that's Rock Nation situations like that. Even with Cardi B, I don't want to get into like the back and forth of beef. I don't know what is going on. If things can be handled simply, is it a label issue? Is it the label? They were supposed to work together, but the label blocked an issue, and they think it's an artist when it's really the label saying, "Oh, nah, you ain't finished this, or you ain't go to this interview. So if you were to do this with that person, it's gonna be, we're gonna have to get you, we have to pay you less, pretty much." So if it's in that type of circumstance, that type of situation, that type of caliber, and we out here thinking it's some type of real, it's whatever, it's this and that, and it has nothing to do at all with a beef, a look. You could say somebody looks a certain way, they don't like a dress, they don't like, whatever it is. Maybe she felt like she was, open her, whatever, though, and then she's just looking down like she's a piece of trash or something, but maybe it has nothing to do with that. Maybe that's why I'm giving space. I don't like to just talk about beefs like sometimes just literally it was a hating friend, and you don't even know that person's friend with them no more. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this person was just crazy. She was a hater, because she was famous or whatever. And that famous field, things, more situations that we don't even think about can happen in an instance, you could say. I like that. I like that. That's a perfect way of putting it down. There's more situations that's going on. Maybe it's just that the lady, she might want to work with somebody that can be sounds good. And she felt offended because it didn't work out in a specific time frame. And when you're in certain labels and companies, it can be totally different from another company. The people around, like back then, it was the most normalest thing to be in a label. So you could say and the money was going around a certain way. They could pay like experienced people, previous artists, things of that nature, previous DJs a certain amount. They know a lot of the information. They got the expertise down and all that. But then the labels started closing down. The money ain't the same. Economy crashing out of nowhere. A lot of people no, the people was losing their homes in 2008, things of that nature too. So it got so dramatic that it wasn't just like a stock issue. It was a business issue. It was a business finance issue, home issues because people didn't know where to live. People's companies was changing. Phone companies didn't exist anymore. I believe Nextel back then was one of the big ones. Wells Fargo's was another one. I think it was Wachovia if I'm not mistaken, it was Wachovia and it was something else. They did a merger with um Morgan and something, I believe. It was like three different banks kind of got together and took a percentage or something. It sounds like weird stuff, but that's how weird it was. Let me see, Radio Shack. Uh, Blockbuster you already know though, because that's different. That's Netflix. But it was a lot of different changes happening at the same time, even with DVDs. So if you was bringing CDs and music and stuff like that, people was on like that Piff at that time. People was on websites, and those was free too. Like so, it was a real weird space, and people that were well experienced was kind of going down the drain, you could say, in the music industry. They either wanted a certain amount they was already used to back then, which I'm not blaming them, not any work for certain things. That's your work, that's your work. But a lot of people can't pay that same amount in a salary based. I'm not even say that. I mean, it would be nice if these people just made their own labels because they knew so much, but that's a totally different topic. That can be hard to do. Sometimes it's crazy how these companies is too. When they in some type of situation, you would think that if you did good by them, they'll keep you, and instead they'll replace you with somebody who knows a lot less, or groups of people, just because they don't have a certain skill set. They don't have to pay them that much, and they'll just play small the whole time and barely make any. Like it's crazy. Why not be with somebody who can expand your business at any point? Maybe you can't do it immediately. It's pretty weird. Like in my view, in my mind, I'm pretty sure in a lot of your views and minds, when it comes down to your jobs and you hear about layoffs going on and companies closing down and this and that. And I think it's absolutely crazy. A lot of times, it's just people who, it's like, all right, let's say, COVID or whatever, we're going to talk about modern times right here to make it more for everybody. All demographic, you young, you old, whatever. We're going to start with that first. All right, yeah, you hired anybody because you were desperate for anybody for some reason. You wouldn't think so, but these companies think the same way as these, regular jobs. It's like you're in a totally different. And to me, it don't make no sense, but that's what happens when you don't have people that actually been in the music game, like active in it. So not in the background. You was just signing paperwork. You're doing a regular desk job in a different location type of situation. So sadly, that's like they monkey see, monkey do out here. Sadly, from what I've been hearing, I can't say every single company because there's definitely companies that been like Universal, some people, Sony Music Record. They've been around for many decades, years. I don't know how good of a business they do or not. Some deals is different. Some genres might be different. Might be more popular. Might have so I can't talk specifics. Some companies are newer. Hey, and they might like the small game, feel me? Because it's whatever. They might like to stay small, but they never been big before. There's a lot of weird stuff been going on, especially after the pandemic. Like people, companies in particular, they are they are liking to play small, being a big guy. So to me, that's like, if you like Giannis Antetokounmpo, just to name somebody, team, um, you don't need to only shoot threes. Kevin Durant, that's another example. Like you so big, you can probably dunk or do a layup, right? Really do something like that. Even a windmill layup, whatever, a dunk. If you don't like to dunk, you can do a you can do, you so tall, right? That you don't have to focus only on like shooting from the outside or you're playing like a small guy. Like a small guy don't got that much space, so he really got to think. He really got to come with a move. He really got to maybe come off a screen. And when you that big, you probably don't got to do that. Like Kevin Durant, you 6'11", Joel Embiid, somebody really big, even Shaquille O'Neal. You don't have to play by the same exact rules. So to me, it's sad that sometimes the lack of experience or lack of guidance from having somebody that's been in the industry around, can just jeopardize the whole fate of how good the company is in the future. And people have to leave the company. That's another thing. People left companies because some other people that were experienced in the industries left the companies. Like I believe that Dr. Dre stopped doing certain things, and then Fifth, he left the Interscope. I think he tried another company too. So it was like, I know he not, what I mean, he not really in the music industry no more. He wasn't make after what happened. I think it was in the '90s and things of that nature. They worked with Tupac and them and all that. It just, I don't blame him either. He thought it was gonna explode with artists, and it didn't happen. I don't want to put blame, but I wish the game would have had took the opportunity, like like a big opportunity, because everybody does not get to work with Drake, and to just be in that like Fifth even gave you some, like he admitted it, like somebody gives you an opportunity, he gives you money. This is not this is another topic right here for another day, or not. When it comes down to somebody, this is not normal things. That's the topic, but everybody doesn't know that's not normal when they do. So it's like it's pretty sad though. Cause this stuff really could have like blew up like in a totally a great way. It was making great music together, and yeah, like it was like kind of like unity for the youth. Like you can be from totally different parts of the country, come together. You don't gotta be it don't gotta be just a local thing. It don't gotta be just this way and that. And, I believe he couldn't handle the pressure as well. Like the West Coast people, they wanted him, and they didn't really have nobody, so they wanted to make it like a kind of like a West Coast thing. And I think the East Coast was kind of like it was in a balance kind of, because after 50, things wasn't kind of the same. No knock to 50. He's defending himself, Ja Rule in his situation, basically, maybe even before Ja Rule, just his record, like, the guy from, what was it, Def Jam, I believe. He's out here, telling everybody, hey, Irv Gotti, yeah, before he died, he even said in the interview, yeah, when this guy's coming, you're gonna have to send everybody out, this and that. And, I'm not knocking him getting, people in the music game, but he getting people in a Murder Inc. Never murdered nobody, never did nothing, acting like the biggest gangster. And if somebody happens to come from that background, from what I heard, they blackballing, they doing people dirty. Like Fifth was basically banned off of all radio stations just cause he, what I mean, he was really good in the game, really had some lyrics. There was all types of beefs going on and stuff like that in the industry already. But some of these was fake beefs, so it's like people was really, you come with a real beef, you didn't know it was, we just didn't like this song, whatever. Though you feel like I don't know exactly what's going on. It was a lot of confusion, a lot of crazy things, a lot of that time. It was they saying Rockefeller was on a similar type of wave, allegedly. I'm not gonna say exactly what happened or not. If he wasn't with them, they was blackballing everybody out the game, and it wasn't like trying to pay people a certain way either. Allegedly, not gonna put myself in to every single detail. It was just oh, this person's in charge or not, or this. I'm not gonna get into none of that. I'm not there. You feel me? Some people say Memphis Bleak, dealt with people a good way, whatever, but he wasn't really in charge, So if you happen to deal with him, it was all cool or whatever. But yeah, besides him, some people ain't go down the same way. DMX was talking about how bad Def Jam was, how before he died, and it was good in the beginning, but you're not like the same exact amount of fame as when you first started. Yeah, it's like they got to push other artists too. So you have so much artists, and you got there's limited funds that they got to balance. They might put like the most popular or whoever they want to push out the most newest, and then they leave you with the little pieces and scraps that's left. So you new artists, you trying new things. You're not sure exactly what somebody might like and not. People might get tired of you. You putting too much music out too. Or you always on the radio. So why? Some of you may or may not ask. I can't say. It, every record label is different. Sometimes, but I can't even talk too much because it's like at a certain particular time, certain people was on. People left as well. So and then they try to try to boost a certain artist's career more than another, which I'm not because somebody like there's certain people that was really good in Rock Nation. People said PD Crack lyrically, I believe so, but I feel like people liked the more like radio kind of songs, and other artists instead became more popular. I think Memphis Bleak was one of those people they really wanted to push or whatever. It's really cool, really, friends with Jay Z, really, yeah, you know about business, you know about this and that. Seem like and he's good lyrically, but I'm not sure. Sometimes it's like that. Some people just like more, whatever it is, and just the money wasn't. They already put so it basically got into a loss. They lost money on this artist when it was right here. Or maybe they just needed a balance. People just know. Some people just don't want to listen to the same guy the whole time. So let's say that situation occurs. I'm not saying that's any of theirs, but I'm just saying there was so much artists that was with them. I think Def Jam one time was like affiliated with Rock Nation or Murder Inc. And I think the beef as well with 50, like put them in the hole as well. So there's things like that happen and not might be out of our control. Nobody expects things like that to happen because that's not the normalest thing to happen in business. Where one beef or even a fight happened, like 50 wasn't even that famous, but Ja Rule was, and he became famous, more famous after the fight with him, and then he exposed him and stuff. Ja Rule saying that he wasn't really in the streets as well, that he was what's it called? He was a Jehovah Witness before, and he just like that atmosphere stuff, and he around it, and to defend his, he willing to do whatever. But it, it wasn't. I'm not gonna get into the politics of what may or may not happen in the streets. I'm not in the streets. I'm not. But you trying to pretend like you the biggest gang that could make easily anybody mad that's involved in that. I can't tell you how mad it can make one person versus the other, but it is not something to be taken very lightly to protect. And whether it's even in a job, you in a job, and the manager pretend like he knows how to do the job, he doesn't know how to do anything, or he's trying to boss you, or trying to pressure, or trying to make it seem a certain way, and he's just trying to basically take pictures with your work, and he has no idea what's going on, doesn't want to know, doesn't care, no,
So when that many things sometimes happen at the same time too, it can be like, wow, a record I was supposed to release didn't release. You don't know if the economy, you don't know if there's just some allocated funds to a specific person, whether it's a producer, a business person that suddenly left because they wasn't getting paid right, or somebody else paying better, or because whatever the issue is, or maybe it was just that they got fired because they couldn't pay that person right for whatever reason it was. And I'm not gonna say that Rock Nation or Irv Gotti and all these people, Murder Inc. is the most innocent people. I feel like you ganging up on one person, I don't know how that can be fair sometimes. Because 50 wasn't like saying that every single rapper was a piece of trash and nothing like this. The people go back to the Power of the Dollar album, and he makes he just hints on people's names and stuff like that on his rap music. This was before even that came out. That Power of the Dollar was shortly before he got signed to Eminem. So, but besides that, he just mentioned a name, and some people's how great, other people is you could check for this, check for me out, check, you know what I mean, like trying to get his name out there and be associated with these people to see if you can get a deal. That was very normal back then. It's not like now you go to YouTube, upload, and you had to specifically try to talk to somebody, meet somebody on the radio station, try to maybe even battle rap. Some people did that, or it was automatic. Like, all right, you tell me your best lyrics versus his best lyrics, like the artist you wanted to see your album, you wanted, like, he'll literally put like your song versus his song, and whatever he liked better, whatever lyric he liked better, and you get put on. For those of you that didn't know, so when you have these much different factors into this industry, and different labels working with another, and not a lot of labels is failing. You know, this label, I believe Def Jam, they had video games. They had so much artists under them, even Ludacris. I don't think, especially at that time he was there. Not, I can't recollect right now, but what I can say right now is that there's so much people that's in that. And for example, Def Jam games, they only put Def Jam artists. So they had like all New York artists. They had Redman, Method Man. They had a lot of people. I believe in Snoop one point, if I'm not mistaken, and that they even had like Spanish people. They had a lot of people under them for some reason. Whether it was a merger, whether it was that was popular too. Sometimes like somebody, whether they worked in a company or not, it was a previous artist. Whether it was back in the day, whether it was I'm not sure. I think MC Hammer might have been one of those people. I don't remember, not Benzino or whatever. But yeah, you and DMX was in there too. That was a big artist. So depending on if this record label has more big artists, so even if you like what you like in this small company, it seems like you can get what you want to get over here with Def Jam. So just being around, maybe being affiliated, something can work out possibly. Um, but you got all these different factors, and uh, companies not really working out as they thought of, mergers happen, things like that. And I say that to say this, that I know it is back in time, but back in time still reflects how things are right now. even though it might be a grind. So things. So with that said, a lot of, let's say somebody who's in the record label right now, most likely he's not brand new into this, and he's not in like the 2020 phase, and after like he just started 2020, or the people that's involved, the bosses and stuff, they've been around since that time or even before. So they whichever decisions they decide to make, whether it's to play the small ball game, play the one artist game, play the very few artists, or I'm not sure exactly what it is. Some people sound, I'm not knocking artists, but some people's like producers are so good that they just make everything sound amazing. Like I remember Kanye talking about, I said Kanye, Ye talking about when he made the Jesus album. He had so much produced, man. He made that album like sound amazing. A lot of his top hits was like that. Like they just had a lot of. It was just, if you notice, with like the type of beats, the type of whether it's a cadence or one go na 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 na, wait till I get money. Like all of that is not normal things that is in songs, in his cadence, in whatever. So you have different minds working together, and what I've seen you can't tell me, like all of that together. He don't even usually do that, but with the beat going on and how things is already going, it's like, I don't know what, like that's not even like you from Chicago, that's not like a usual Chicago flow or whatever, but it just sounded nice. I don't know how they did it, if it was a producer or not, or who split what, or when it came down to the money side. So a lot of these things is really can go either way. So I kind of feel for Nicki. I'm not sure if just being, cause she was with Cash Money. So to me, Cash Money is like more of an independent type of company, where it seems like they can do, it's just freestyle. They can do however they want it, which I think is amazing. I don't recommend people to put a big label route, for the most part. But yeah. So being in the Cash Money situation and then going to a big label, maybe I'm pretty sure she probably didn't know either, because all this stuff sounds really complicated. Especially, I don't know how. Maybe she was like in her early 20s or something like that when she did it. When she was with Cash Money, I believe she was in her early 20s, around their 20s. You know what I mean? But so all of that information at that age and stuff is, that can be very difficult to understand all of this, exactly how somebody might or might do or might not do outside the contract or not, or if you can, just because you made a certain amount of records, you can get like I owe you one kind of a thing or not at that age. So I'm not knocking Nicki at all on what she thought or might not, or think maybe because she worked with Wayne, things might be different. But sometimes we don't know what is going on with that. So I'm gonna leave that, sadly, from what I know right now, as it is. And I love that Nicki is getting involved in things that some might say it's too different, right? But she's willing to put the amount of difference for a better future that she believes in, willing to take the risk it needs and necessary areas to help fight for a secure future. We can't keep going in this path of just because you want something different, you're willing to say yes to every single decision or thing that's unknown by an unknown person. Maybe if you didn't like Biden, if you was sleeping and whatever, though, he had an amazing track record. He was a attorney general for Obama when he first came in and worked his way up, or whatever. So on paper, on wow, what you've seen over the years, nobody would expect a president to be sleeping or anything like that. So I understand that. I'm not gonna get into that. You already know that Trump's decision making usually isn't the best when it comes down to his anger at times. But in many other things, the economy, the scaring off terrorism, when it becomes to things like that, scaring off cartels, scaring off some of these things is not exactly like even people might speak about like nursing, things of that nature. What's going on with that? You know, these are not high-paying fields. So with how things is going on, how this country was in the Ukraine war and things of that nature, that really like just with the 2020 COVID-19 at the same time, pretty much just made the economy plummet. And it's just not the most, there's other fields. The more people, sadly, I understand that for many of y'all women, it's to be like a central hub where, you know, women of the same community can come together and, you know, ethnic groups and all this other stuff and enjoy the conversations and you know, this is, I understand all of that, but the more people that keep on joining that field, sadly, it just makes the amount of money being paid to either stay lower or become lower. You know, before, let's say McDonald's was, when they first came out, you could, with a McDonald's job, you can, you know, have 5 kids, you can buy a house, you can get a car, things of that nature. People wasn't even really trying to switch jobs. That was one of the main things at that point, whatever job they had, because they could pay for everything and get a pension and get, you know, a lot of, you know, benefits at the same time. Today's economy is not like that. It's constantly changing, so companies are more tempted to make cuts and do this and lay off people for any reason. So I'm not gonna blame Trump for layoffs. That's you know, companies' financial decisions, if they are making the right decisions or not. If they feel like, you know, a lot of things too, like the last generations, people are having less kids, in other words, too. So this was kind of gonna happen anyways, in my opinion. I'm not gonna get into this soon, but you know, everybody doesn't. It's not the most necessary position, is what I'm gonna say. So it might seem like he accelerated things, but when so much money, I've been seeing a statistic that more immigrants have been receiving welfare than Americans. These are the top one was from Islamic countries. A lot of those women have at least like 4 kids. Usually it's 4, sometimes 3, and it's part of the religion that the women don't work. So these are people that are never gonna. It don't matter if they stay 100 years. This is. And if they all have girls too, and it's also, I don't even want to get into that. That's just Indian. After that, it has nothing to do with all of the people of different races from any other place around the country. They don't have to work and they get a car. People always talk about the Venezuelan gang members in Chicago. It was all, you know, on the news. They came in and they already had cars. They had money for guns. They had money for every single crime takeover. The takeover over Colorado apartment building, where you don't even have to pay the tenant anymore. The tenant has to pay them. Type of business. It's just absolutely out of control. The amount of rapes, the amount of women being kidnapped, that's been risen since all of that's been going on. A lot of it's been increasing. Giving more bad ideas to people that are already doing bad things. The amount of you know, child trafficking. You know, a lot of these things have stopped under the Trump administration. This is why a deterrent, a scare factor needs to be there, because criminals are not gonna listen to logic and what all the time. What is better for your kids, your family, your finances? People a lot of times are in the heat of the moment when they make their decisions, and you can only do what has been done. In a sense, you can only do what you're left with as well. In another sense. So with that said, you can only do so much after so much has happened as well. This is a man that I'm not going to talk about too much, because I feel like I really hate the way that he talks at times when he's angry. This is a man that pretty much has gotten a lot of things done by himself with a lot of resistance from even his own side at times, even when they clap afterwards, because they loved his decision so much. So this is like a man that the only way he's able to do even the COVID-19 checks that he's done and is willing to do, so coming from that, just on the positive side, not on that, it's more the timing of when he came into office and is willing to do what he said he's going to do. All of these factors makes me say no blame on Nicki. And, he wants to do COVID checks again for people. So sometimes, hey, it's sad to say, but sometimes it's better for everybody as well, because if strong woman, strong family can make a strong family. A strong family can stay strong in hard times and enjoy the good times after the hard times. That's how I'm gonna put it right there. Same thing for a guy. Y'all both come together. It's amazing. And I believe that if I have other beliefs as well. These aren't just beliefs, but I'm try to keep it light to be able to talk about other issues right now. It comes down to even a job situation. I would like everybody to have better paying jobs. Sometimes that requires people to be in different locations. It was bound to happen anyways, but instead of like you suddenly lose your job in the middle of Christmas type of situation, in the future, like in the middle of you don't have time for anything, or in the middle of I don't know, there's just worser times. This is something that I understand you can say it's happening now, right? Some people have gotten layoffs because they're not getting as much. It's a multitude of factors. Like I'm saying, a lot of people aren't having as much kids. A lot of women are going to one specific type of job, and when you give that company that much power, this time you can say they had an excuse, but since it was going to happen anyways, with all that saying, it's just bound to happen. If everybody is a mechanic, everybody is a whatever it is, and anybody can work at McDonald's, right? They can pay whatever they want now because it's not valuable, and people are going to take it regardless. They're going to replace you with that person. So I believe if people go into separate fields, it helps hold the value of the job positions and helps keep your security valued as well. For women, honestly, this is why I hate this situation. I believe that if you're a woman and God helps you find a good man, you should be working part-time. You can enjoy the kids, the house, whatever though. And you can better deal with the kids. You're more comfortable, and you can do a job like that part-time or whatever. But yeah, because it's like you give these companies your neck. This goes to the music industry as well. You give it your neck, blood, sweat, tears, and in one day, your whole life can change on a piece of paper, one email, a text message, or your badge not working next day. And I'm sorry, you didn't check the email. Check the email. That's it. Or if you do talk to somebody, you don't really get the answers or right answers. They don't even know what's going on either. You know, if it was a company thing or whatever the situation is. So it's like you just wasted your time. And I don't think that's right for anybody to have their time wasted like that, especially how hard things is. So a lot of times these rich companies, they get people automatically. People are automatically attracted to them for whatever reason, whether it's the big name and this and that, and a lot of opportunities, can be thrown out from working in these companies like that. So doing something like that, not only from a role of a woman or not. I'm not here to say that women can't be a motivator. A woman can't be, be in the art, can't be in the acting, can't be into whatever field that she can help others out, help her family out. Not saying that, but these companies are horrible, and this can be definitely a good start. A lot of times, even if the man or woman wants to or even needs to be involved with their kids, they don't have enough time or energy because a bad company or manager or system in place in that company prevented them to, and at least it's a way out to something else. I believe this is something that really needs to be talked about. So, hey, I'm gonna squeeze this in right here. Definitely appreciate all the women. I gotta say that since I appreciate a lot of women out there, I don't want y'all just to be, just out here and, you know, going through hard times, no type of security, and being abused by the system. I feel like the system is gonna abuse people, or they don't care about people anyways. The bosses, whatever. You might as well take this opportunity, or I ain't gonna say might as well take it, but it's gonna be a great opportunity to go into that direction whenever you can. You have it in your mind, whether you're thinking about another job to get into, or whatever. Like the part-time road for women, for men, I feel like men doing their thing, whether it's in, I'm not even gonna mention the music game, but whatever it is, I'm not gonna go into arts and acting and stuff. When a man feels great, especially about his woman, he wants to perform more for the woman. He might want to really take a route somewhere. If it builds up to that, might want to dress a certain way for come with this and that. A woman making them feel special. I want to talk a certain way, and that can build up to the woman, and that helps the kids as well. And I'm not going to go into stepfathers and stepmothers and things of that nature, but that stuff can make things go way better. He has more time. You got full time or whatever. You got more whatever. You got time to take stress out of his mind too. And he at work if possible. God willing as well. God help him. And in that type of way, he can feel strong. He can feel like the man. He feel get his job done. At least he has somewhere where it can be at least some type of I don't know if the word safe is right to use in this situation, right? But to feel great about him and his family and where he's at in that role, it's like it can become an identity of how he protects. Yeah, so certain situations right here, I think it's sad. I believe that Cardi and Nicki, they should have been working together. To be honest, come from the same place. It's sad where the state of New York has been for many years. Some people say it's because of gatekeeping, unnecessary beefs between labels and things of that nature. Just Whatever the situation is, New York has not been able to get up. Any artist that's from New York, the style is, because of all of that, is not the same as the South. The South is like all the, I'm not saying all the same, but it's like similar kind of music for the most part. I understand certain parts, Louisiana, and even Texas can be different. Not end up, but there's also more similar artists, and I believe everybody could definitely like what they like and still make money in a sense. But things go negative, that's the real problem in my opinion. So yeah, I believe that's one of the is people go to jail, for example, right? Whatever it is, a beef happens, they possibly can lose their life in jail. If not, they come out, they lose their money, they lose their relationship with their family, the kids. That can go really bad, especially somebody else is there now that the family needed help, and that can be like for many years, decades, unnecessary drama situation, and now somebody want to force to make another family. Um, I'm just saying you gotta do what you gotta do. You can't be alone the rest of your life just because one situation happened either. So regardless, I'm gonna leave it at that. I like to see at least.
So when things usually happen, that I think Joe Budden's maybe seen as a positive figure in hip hop or around. 'Cause I know he don't really make music no more, but some people say Kendrick Lamar, but with the beef that happened with Drake, he don't really make music like that. Some people don't know where to go with this. So, Rock Nation's been going. It's a lot of things going on. Drake is not the same either. So, I think maybe this can be one of the things you can consider with Nicki Minaj. I love, um, like just the history as well as she has with working with other people. Um, I'm not sure if the beef is really what made people really mad. Like nobody really knows what's going on with her, and maybe she can't even say. I'm not even gonna say that too much. Maybe she can't say anything because of I'm gonna say label issues, or maybe it's just because of the fame. Maybe it's just something else. It could have been a man that was whatever it is that somebody was messing with or not, or heard this and that, or a party, something happened with somebody that they know or they're mutual, whatever though, mutual with, and um, or they thought that she knew this person or not. But whatever the issue is, I think from my perspective, it don't seem like it can be that big. Initially, we don't know, but it shouldn't take away from the positive things that she's doing. And I'm not saying to just give away titles to anybody, whether it's positive or not, right? But this is something that can be in great consideration to take steps forward in. And I'm gonna leave that one situation right here. You can think about it as we go into the next one. Sebastian Teflon with P. Diddy. To me, it's a sad situation to see. Former ex-basketball player, been there in the league for decades. I understand he's not known. He doesn't have the best points, but still being in a jail situation. And then like you in a place where most people are not in that level of fame. Their families is not talking to them no more. People's full of anger. There might be people with mental health issues. At least Chef G was mad at current situation with the restrooms being used in certain places that's not normal. Uh, People with mental issues is deteriorating, whether it's anger, sadness, or whatever. Uh, they got no one to talk to. People all over with bad energy. Diddy almost lost his life. It's why it's good to not play with people. You never know where you're gonna go. I'm not sure if it was Hassan Campbell, right? It was somebody else. That was somebody else, but Hassan said this too. Um, this is in with Dame Dash. You laughed your way all the way to the top, and there's gonna be people that can laugh their way when you're going all the way to the bottom. Whatever situation it is, whether it's jail, whether it's a suing, whether it's sometimes sadly, we got to watch what we say. People remember more of how you made them felt than how you. That's a sad reality and truth. And people they remember how you made them feel. Might not remember what you said. So I believe that if everybody, uh, also just like the TV and stuff, maybe you was around dangerous people, you was around this, you thought it was whatever. It might be normal, whatever though. Maybe in his what happened in his situation with beating up the women and stuff like that. Even J Lo. A lot of people is not going to look at the same. No matter if you grew up that way, no matter if you're just looking at that your whole life. If you're around people in jail, it don't give you a pass for everybody in their mind to to just go over. It can make people say, "Well, you gonna do that to me next?" You get mad. Now I'm put in a situation whether it's financially too. You're talking to certain people, and in this category, and what I mean. It might make somebody jump the gun, jump the knife, like what happened with him. Somebody in jail that's not the most peaceful. That's not doesn't have the best intentions and best thoughts in his mind. You can be provoking him to go take a step further unnecessarily. You woke up like that. You don't know if you made somebody mad 10 years ago. Some people say you probably raped somebody 10 years ago, and now they come to get you. Like, you don't know what happened. Where is it from? You got so much people mad that, Sebastian is, exactly. You still got his pictures in the past. Like, it don't look like he the type of person, or he even, let's say, you don't look like he probably started the issue, or he probably you go from that category, you're not making no money for years. You come out of jail after lawyer fees, this is for both of them, you still have to pay money regardless. On the bills, whether it was the wife, you got to help her out, the kids, or it's child support, whether it's like, whoa. And so, tough flare, like you never know. Sometimes it's sad, like a simple conversation, everything look cool, look good. Somebody, I don't know, like sometimes even just an affiliation with somebody, you never know what somebody else is thinking, doing. Um, everybody went to jail for something too, and it's not always the lightest thing. So who knows? I'm very surprised that you would think that Diddy would think a certain way, but it's just being in jail. I see him getting jobs. He's a man that is now working. I believe he did the laundry or Liberian. The laundry, he's doing one of those two definitely, and he's not doing the other. Coming down to Tepler's situation, it don't look too bad compared to Diddy's situation, but coming from a millionaire situation, to a place nobody wants to be, very small rooms, people sharing restrooms in the same room, same cell. Things can either get dangerous or just very boring. All your opportunities is out the window for that current season. It can be harder just because of that, because whether it was with a specific person or not, yeah. So being in that type of situation right there, is stripped from everything. Whatever customer service you may or may not have gotten has to be a lot worse than jail. I hope the same don't happen to G Herbo. People saying in a Rico situation, things is going weird. I'm gonna say on his YouTube channel, not say too much. When we get out of that, God willing, I think it's very sad what's going on with Lil Durk as well, and all at the same time. Yeah, I think that's crazy. I thought it was gonna be all Diddy people going to jail at the same time. You know, like even out close affiliates or whoever that was with him or whatever. It seems like right now everybody is innocent except him. I can't say what it is, what it's not, how long this is gonna be like that. A little Dirk, man, that's like, to me, it's an example of how one person can change it. Like everything before Vaughn was got out of jail, everything was right, everything was amazing, making positive music. I think it was he made this song Heroes. I didn't like that too much. But like he was going in a totally different direction, going the pop direction, not going to, you know, the shoot somebody direction, the end back in jail direction, or maybe I'll never be seen ever again in out in life direction. Because whether it is or not, whether somebody, you know, just by being affiliated with people that's not trying to go in a certain direction that you're going, can be really frustrating. You know, I think it's sad because I would think that, you know, 50 from being one time one of the best artists, showing that it's possible to leave the industry or, you know, go a different direction or whatever though, and it don't have to be like just pure, it don't gotta be negative. You know, even if you say it, you're not glorifying, you're just saying the story. There's not a lot of good things that happen in them stories right there. There's a lot of, it can be depressing things, you know, people turning on you, people, you know, snitching, people getting killed, people you almost dying, you living with like anxiety so much that you can't even think straight. You might want to smoke more, drink more, do this, and then starting to find out you make a decision that you didn't mean to make in that condition, and you either lost your life or lost many years of your life and lives of others, or a situation that could have been prevented. I wish that other people would take this or pray that other people. I think we should all pray. People can take this situation and Lil Durk as well, whether he gets out or not. Even though people, it looks like it looks like it can be a beatable case with him and G Herbo. I hope they come out. If they do come out good in the cases, that they come out strong in the sense of just more separation. You know, just more focus on positive music side, like he was with the Heroes, where he was doing that. More, I remember Herb too, like he was like in that whole wave though. He was taking balling like I'm Kobe. He was trying Kobe that died. He wasn't just focusing on. It wasn't like just a drill album. And Fazo, I believe it was more or less kind of what type of time Fazo was on, and it wasn't always just drill first, ask questions later type of thing. So pretty sad sometimes how these lyrics can get people in trouble as well. Like you could be possibly innocent and the lyrics make people think otherwise, or people as well. It could be, people fake snitching, or based on just that attached to whatever that was going on, comments, speculations going too crazy. Sometimes it don't even got nothing to do with you. It could have been a crazy YouTuber out here putting lies out, or an interview. They're trying to fish for information, and then the information is used against you in a court of law. And it's just another thing to joke about on YouTube. I don't even think they just watching your circle on an interview. It could save your life. Like, it don't even got to be just friends or just people, or just or somebody we don't know. Like it's like just simply like steps forward, and that the youth can look at the situation and be like, if my friend come out of jail, whatever though, you're gonna have to set things straight, or I'm gonna have to I'm not trying to be on some drill type stuff. I understand you got this and that going on. We're not on that time no more. Appreciate what I mean, get you a little something out there, maybe. If but based on maybe you can't do all that. But let's set things straight. We're not on that. If you would have said anything similar to that and separated, I don't think people even know King Von is, to be honest, besides people. So in the comment sections, maybe a few people in the comment section, and he could have just, right now, they're just recruiting anybody type stuff. It's not, you don't have to be specifically from like 300 or 600, which I think at first I thought it was kind of crazy that people in different parts of Chicago and stuff, you don't know him, who he, whatever though, but at the same time, they're not with, you can like verify and whatever though, some way. I ain't gonna say that because that sounds like incriminating, kind of like. But just in general, you feel me? I think they had some people not from Chicago on there, on that group. OTF. I'm sorry, I said 300. Is OTF. I don't think. I think if it's strictly music, strictly, especially moving in a positive direction, people just trying to live an enjoyable life, more uh less life and death lifestyle, and moving, because a lot of people in the street, they don't even know how to do that, if that's even possible or not. Whether you G Herbo, whether you this and that, when you around that type of environment, type of people, um, even if you want to say, nah, you did a situation too wrong to your friend or whatever, though, it's not going to stop somebody from trying to shoot everybody that's associated or whatever, though. If y'all together or y'all separate, or, they ain't going to know the exact status when things get taken too far. It can be really hard to walk away. And at that point, you got to stay away, and not even be in contact if it gets violent, So I think now with Dirk's maturity, or seeing how big a situation could be from, I'm not even say now, bro, right? I thought that his father coming home and things of that nature, it would help him calm down. His father seemed it was a totally different time, but Dirk keep pushing that, GD type stuff though, BD. So I don't know exactly, like I'm saying, it's just cause, people gonna do something or not, somebody he knows, or if you feel like you don't continue. I don't know what's going on, but I know God can be in the middle of that, what's going on. Definitely help him out. With Herbo, he moved out, so I don't even know how the situation is coming up. I'm not sure in what angle, what cases, if it's just based on a blogger, or an associate. You feel me? I feel like if you like that far away from the city, it could be harder and not. I don't know, like to even be involved in street stuff like that. Um, Everybody knows you too, but I'm not gonna get into that and who can be innocent exactly and not in the court of law. And that type of stuff can be complicated, especially with affiliates and things of that nature. I feel like they was in the right direction. Everybody that was in part of the groups, they wasn't really. It was more in the having fun, whatever. Though certain people, even with 300, like Reese and uh, man, Young Chop, he wasn't even nowhere near the gang scene. He just from being around people, whatever. He felt like he had to get involved or defend or this and that. I think it's best. It's like somebody said, man, everybody's not Jesus, though, man. Like, sadly, I say this like this, man. All y'all women listening out here, yeah, Jesus, he sat with all these other people, with the publicans. They didn't like him sitting. Oh, he's sitting next to prostitutes, sitting next to thieves and murderers. People that are healed don't need a physician, Jesus said. So, okay, you talking to them, maybe, give them the gospel. You know that I say everybody's not Jesus because if you start hanging near prostitutes, you may get involved with whatever she's doing or not. Whether it was with another man, a problem that's unnecessarily can. Whether you with maybe whatever it is, though, gang member, whatever, you might not have the same amount of patience as Jesus could. You can be in a situation where things pop off, and now you going to jail. Now you doing that. Now you living a gang life. Or you getting blamed for 100 years. You don't know if it was the member. You don't know if it was this and that. You don't know. You know what I mean? Or you getting blamed for you did snitch, you didn't snitch, and everything will turn out like how it is on you. Sometimes people get to say their story and that they didn't do it. Other times people may or may not even get that chance to say that. Okay, to be, it's a sad thing to lose your life for something that you didn't do either. So yeah, man, it was so powerful. Like just seeing his mom too on the interviews, I thought that was like wow. His mom, she don't look like the gang life type of mom either. Like wow, with Dirk back then, Dirk don't seem like he that type of person. I'm not gonna say that he isn't involved in the streets or not, but he conduct himself in a way that's you could say more professional, and I hope that he keeps going down that path. Hope God helps him out, and I feel like he's serious about trying to make some type of change. He's been a Muslim for a certain amount of years, regardless of what an artist I don't want to mention may or may not say, or blogger or whoever. I believe in Jesus. I'm not going to get into his religion or whatever, but it seems like he looks towards that for some type of positivity, which I respect in the search of something. He seemed positive and things of that nature. I believe it's Surah 533 in the Muslim book. It says, search and you will find the answer of these things, and the things it's talking about is in the Bible of the origins as well. So you can see that the teachings of peace and forgiveness and kindness, even if the Muslims don't mention that and it's not in the Muslim religion, just that book that part is something you should look forward to, and seeing that Jesus can be the answer. As I'm not going to get into religion. I am going to get into the fact that, yeah, so I'm gonna just leave it that at that right there. I see him having people praying or whatever, and I'm not gonna say anything except for the fact that even though Malcolm X, I believe, was sort of like the outlier, the exception, is not too many accolades you could say, or maybe we could talk about one day. I believe is from based on this country and other countries that have became Christian and things of that nature. There's been more accolades, even though we may not have seen all of those in this time, such as times of the other prophets at certain times, Isaiah, Jeremiah in the Bible, um, Esther. And Esther is a woman that she was taken as a young girl to be in the palace of the king and chosen as a wife. And so basically, they didn't even know where she was from. She was taken away from her place and everything, and a place she didn't know. Still believed in the faith. And Joseph. So that's what I really wanted to mention. Man as a slave, sold as a slave as a kid by his family, been in jail for something he didn't do. And then later he becomes a king, or Esther becomes a queen, and helps save Israel from disaster that was going on. Joseph helped people come to God, even in Egypt. It says in Genesis 30, I believe it's Genesis 33. So these are things that can be outliers as well. I believe that Malcolm X, to me, sounded more Christian in a sense from a historical factor, but I'm gonna leave it at that. I love the way he debates or talks and things of that nature. Um, not against the positive messages, but we can talk about this another time. What I am gonna go into is basically what all this ties down is one situation, whether it's Nicki Minaj, whether it's Cardi, whether it's Sebastian Telfair, P. Diddy. All it takes, P. Diddy, Herbo. I'm not saying they in the same situation, but all it takes is one thing at a time to land yourself in a position you never met, and a label or even a basketball team or teams not to want you on a team. There's people who was really good. They forced to play. I believe it was a my God, like you like being on the NBA to losing almost being in a life and death situation for whatever reason, whether it's to somebody or yourself, and now you're forced to play in another country over a controversy. I wish even for Iverson, bro, like he was 6 feet, bro. Like a lot of people looked up to you. That's not normal at all. I wish he could have talked to somebody back then, maybe calm him down, and just stay in the league, earn rings. Like I believe and with certain things, he was kind of better than Cole. He was making Cole. Even when they banned that move, like just his speed, the Spider-Man move, the fadeaways, bro. Like he was shooting three. He catch a dunk off what's it called? Somebody miss a shot, he can dunk it back in. Like absolutely amazing. And to see him, he was forced to go to Turkey over some type of miscommunication, possibly, or him reporting gambling and things of that. I think it was missed calls on purpose and trying to escalate that issue, and it put him in a bad team or a team where he was forced not to get enough minutes or the bad press. I believe he got 20 points in the Nuggets. I'm not gonna say, but I don't say too much, but in 10 minutes, like if you play 30, that's automatic 40, or with new rule changes on hand check. Like, come on, bro. If you played near LeBron or something, that would have been good. They didn't want to do that. So regardless, bygones are bygones. They put him back in the MVP. Got a statue. I like to see justice done, but when it comes down to situations like this, it's very sad that these situations have even gotten this far sometimes. Sometimes, for y'all right here listening, you guys listening can be that connecting ear, that John to the Baptist to Jesus, he baptized Jesus situation. You can be that bridge to help the world be a better place. Help these people in situations like that. help motivate a generation. Yes, you can do all things even at 6 feet, bro. Like you don't have to be 6'8" or whatever to make a big impact. You don't gotta be you know, from a certain look, a certain job, just to make it out of a bad environment. You don't gotta do all of this and that, and help be the future change as well. That you can definitely look back and not go back. I remember back then it was more examples of that. Even Tax Stone, so he started going to where too many rappers was, and he was talking about rappers too. So it's like that was brand new back then. But still, like podcasters and rappers, sometimes it's not always gonna go well. Everybody don't know how to deal with, very hard conversations. It can be very hard to calm down in or whatever. Somebody seems like they're yelling or they doing this and that. He talking about his past too much, that pride of the previous position, that of title being challenged and not can cause harm at times, whether it's to yourself, to others, make them so I understand that. I believe it was like his man that took a gun out, like Troy Man or whatever though, and he felt like he had to do something. But it's like he was on a state like podcast. Nobody knows if he can ever come back from that. That it's harder to be a YouTuber, connections and stuff. We don't know what's gonna. As far as I know, only person I really seen seems like Max B. He came out, and he had the ring and the chain and all that. Very few people come out like that. No knock to Max B. Um, but it's like this is how much people want some person to look up to. Sometimes they really want somebody, So this is why after so many years, Max B could come out and be that. Because there's no in New York, there's nobody really. People either die like Pop Smoke or Bobby Shmurda. They go to jail for a long time. They come back and they can't really do nothing. Like everything's like gone. Like people like finally somebody look up to or whatever though. Somebody get help, bring the mood up. Somebody that can, you know what I mean? But it's whatever it is. Some people say it's gatekeepers. I believe they exist. Some other people it's just decisions. People they around or whatever. They don't get that memo of the mentality switch in time with the fame. A lot of times fame comes first. Mentality is like sometimes you learn from experience is what I'm gonna say. 'Cause there's no real book to how to transition. So it's a rough situation. I believe the same thing with Chicago. There was a lot of artists coming up, a lot of people dying, a lot of whether it was Vaughn, whether it was a lot of other people. I think Dirk was with Carlito. Um, it's just a lot of people. He had a D thing, it was a lot of people that it was like. I think ultimately D thing was real. Like one of the biggest artists, but him being a hype man, just the history and stuff, like people don't even see that in real life too often or either though. Like people that grew up together, being in the same situation, yeah, later in life, from rags to riches, you could say. I don't know if that's how you want to say it. From white tees to coops with a V on the hood, or I don't know however you want to say it. I can't think of any Chicago lingo too much right now, though. That's more New York. Everybody don't know about that. White tees, the V's, or whatever, though. Like, that as the T, but however, y'all want to say it, sad. I definitely want to see that, man. Like, it ain't no, I think I ain't one. It's like if I name a podcaster, they ain't really too much. That I say they transition from the streets to podcasting and they on a positive tip. They're not like on tearing people down and, I guess get into confrontations or whatever that can lead to a really bad way. Like, people that's borderline, I'm not knocking it. I'm pretty sure, it's a situation that people can easily be in. Sadly, especially with a big amount of fame out of nowhere. It's like so many things in your life change, and you don't know which way to look or do, or how things or people's gonna see you or react to you. It just happens out of nowhere, and you got to do something. It seems like I'm not saying negative, but it's like you're in a situation where somebody just might be offended. I understand, just on you didn't receive them a certain way when that expectation didn't exist yesterday. Yesterday you're just a random person, okay? Hey, and, so you got things that's not even, it's not taught in schools, it's not anywhere. So it can be a very hard situation to adjust to. I say keep looking up, keep doing what you got to do to, keep moving forward, maintain. God bless. That's what I'm gonna say about the situation, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Comment, like, subscribe. Appreciate everybody listening, and see y'all later.